England, there is growing backlash and excitement for what's shaping up to be a transatlantic fight over Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sit down with Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, honey. This is the kind of Hollywood backroom drama that makes even the most seasoned insiders clutch their pearls. Meghan Markle, yes, that Meghan, the Duchess who set the world on fire in that jaw-dropping 2021 Oprah tell-all, just got a wake-up call she never saw coming. After riding that global sympathy wave straight into the stratosphere, Meghan reportedly went knocking on Oprah's door again. But this time, it wasn't for tea and pleasantries. She came armed with a pitch, a second sit-down. Her mission? To clarify her side of the latest whirlpool of controversies swirling around her name. But instead of Oprah greeting her with the warm embrace of a media queen ready to save the day, Meghan was met with a polite but firm no. And for a woman who's made a career out of controlling every ounce of her narrative, that no wasn't just a setback, it was a gut punch. Because let's be real, Oprah's rejection isn't just a closed door, it's a glaring neon sign to the rest of Hollywood. Even Meghan's most powerful allies are running out of patience. And that's a terrifying shift for someone whose entire public survival depends on high-powered backing. And this, my friends, is just the first and perhaps the most devastating crack in the once impenetrable Meghan Markle media machine.
It will be seen right here on CBS. In an apparent siding with the royal family, the British media are suggesting it's insensitive to air such an explosive interview while
behind the polished smiles and carefully worded press releases, whispers are getting louder. Insiders tied to Harpo Productions claim Oprah has been deliberately creating distance from the Sussex circus. And it's not because she's suddenly soured on Meghan personally. No. It's because the risks now outweigh the rewards. Yes, Oprah's 2021 interview with Meghan was a cultural earthquake. Millions of viewers tuned in, social media went into meltdown mode, and the palace walls practically shook. But with that came a firestorm of criticism, relentless fact-checking, and accusations that Oprah had stepped into dangerous waters. Oprah's built her empire on trust, decades of credibility. She knows better than anyone that every public association carries a cost. And in Hollywood, you learn fast. Sometimes survival means stepping away from a brand in freefall.
Outside Buckingham Palace with the very latest.
I wasn't even allowed to have that conversation with you personally, right? There had to be people from the comments sitting there. Everything was...
There were other people.
Here's the tea. Meghan didn't just want another conversation with Oprah. She needed it. This wasn't about breaking new ground or sharing fresh revelations. This was crisis control. Pure and simple. 2 years of fallout had left dents in her empire. Spotify, imploded. Netflix, hanging by a thread. Poll numbers in the UK, and brace yourself, even in parts of the US, slipping. Meghan reportedly believed that one high-profile primetime sit-down with Oprah could flip the script, reset her public image, and hand her back the control she craves like oxygen. But when Oprah shut that door, the whole blueprint crumbled in an instant.
Several attempts to see his grandmother.
Yes, and I think that was such an important story to be shared last night. In the process of trying to edit this 3 hours and 20 minutes down to
And here's why that no is catastrophic. Meghan and Harry's PR strategy has always leaned on a small but powerful circle of allies. Oprah wasn't just a talk show legend. She was the ultimate amplifier, the validator, the shield against an onslaught of bad headlines. Without her, the Sussexes lose a vital line of defense, and worse, the rejection hints that these shields are falling one by one. Remember when Meghan was the interview get of the decade? Any network that landed her could bank on record-breaking ratings and headlines for weeks. But those days are gone. The air around her has shifted. Another Oprah special wouldn't be seen as a headline-grabbing exclusive anymore. It would feel like a rerun.
Question to be answered here at the end of this show will be, why did they leave? And I think the stories about being blindsiding the Queen were very, very damaging to them and also hurtful because they understood very clearly that they're...
And here's the kicker. The fact that Oprah is walking away from that opportunity, that says it all. Meghan's once magnetic pull is losing force. And in Hollywood, when your gravity weakens, your leverage disappears. And that leads us to the next brutal blow. Hollywood's appetite for Meghan Markle is drying up faster than she dares admit. We're talking canceled deals, stalled projects, and whispers from behind the scenes that the novelty has worn off. One entertainment executive, speaking strictly off the record, put it bluntly: the audience is tired of the same storyline. And if you know this industry, you know that's a death sentence for a brand built on reinvention. And Oprah's rejection? Oh, it doesn't just confirm this, it broadcasts it like a flare in the night sky, warning the rest of the industry to keep their distance.
Following many months of conversations and more recent discussions, I am pleased that together we have found constructive and supportive way forward for my grandson and his family. So the Queen on January 18th actually said that there'd been months of conversation.
And when the news hit Meghan, oh, buckle up, because Upset doesn't even begin to cover it. One insider claims she exploded. To her, this wasn't just a professional snub, it was a betrayal. She allegedly accused certain former allies of letting the negative press cloud their loyalty instead of standing by her like they used to. This cut deep. Oprah's rejection wasn't some faceless network decision. This was personal, a public flashing neon sign that one of her most influential friends was no longer willing to stake her reputation on the Duchess of Sussex. And here's the thing about Hollywood. When someone of Oprah's stature steps back, others don't just notice, they follow. That's when the dreaded domino effect begins. Agents, publicists, stylists, even charitable boards start rethinking their associations. They watch the room, they do the math, and they whisper, if Oprah won't take the risk, why should we? And the proof is already in the pudding. A handful of Meghan's late 2025 media appearances have been quietly postponed, some indefinitely.
And when she sees them, and it seems to come back to something that Meghan pointed out early, that there's the family and then there's the institution. And you were constantly trying to probe the difference between the two. What did you take away from that?
I took away from that there are, as Harry just indicated, there are people.
Now, don't expect the industry to say this out loud. They won't. But behind closed doors in PR strategy meetings, Meghan's name is no longer greeted with excitement. Instead, hesitation. And it all traces back to that first Oprah interview in 2021. Yes, it was one of the most talked about TV moments of the decade. But the aftermath? Messy. The couple's claims were picked apart, fact-checked, and in some cases flat-out challenged. Some stories didn't survive under scrutiny, and Meghan's decision to never publicly clarify those points left a cloud. A second Oprah chat wouldn't wipe the slate clean. It would rip open old wounds, drag them back into the spotlight, and invite the same brutal debate all over again. Oprah knows that, and she knows it could hurt her credibility just as much as Meghan's, which is why this isn't just a no, it's a warning shot.
Hierarchical structure, and those people have a lot of influence and also input.
You get you mentioned last night, Oprah, that you watch The Crown. I do too. You get a sense of that in The Crown, that actually there is almost kind of like a deep state within the monarchy that actually runs the monarchy.
A warning that's now echoing across the A-list talk show circuit. Think Gayle King, Ellen DeGeneres, Trevor Noah, anyone with a platform big enough to give Meghan the redemption moment she craves. By stepping away, Oprah has sent the unspoken message. This story is radioactive. And in elite media circles, that kind of sentiment spreads like wildfire. Before you know it, the industry as a whole reaches a quiet consensus. Don't touch it. This moment isn't just about losing an interview. It's about losing one of the two pillars Meghan built her post-royal life on, her control over her own story, and the star power to make the world listen.
I think they agreed to do it, wanted to do it, were ready to do it, because when you have been lied about for a series of years, I think anybody, you can understand this if...
Now, losing Oprah as a megaphone, that means one of those pillars just crumbled. Without that platform, she risks fading into Hollywood's background noise. And in a town obsessed with the next big thing, cooling off can be fatal. For years, Meghan walked with the confidence of someone who thought her image was untouchable. That 2021 Oprah special put her at the very center of global conversation. But this rejection, it's a crack in the illusion. She's no longer too big to fail. And when that aura fades, every stumble, every awkward PR stunt, every unflattering headline hits harder. In Hollywood, it's a subtle shift, but deadly. Because once people stop fearing the consequences of saying no to you, your influence has already started to die.
If in your own office or in your own family, somebody is saying things about you that are not true, and how hurtful that is, or if you're online and you read the comments from something that somebody has said about you, and you continue to see those comments, how...
And while Meghan's team is keeping officially silent, whispers say she wanted this second interview to be more than just a PR bandage. It was supposed to be her comeback moment, maybe even the launchpad for another project. But Oprah? She saw too many flashing red lights, unresolved controversies, overexposure, a public that's a lot less forgiving than it was in 2021. The problem isn't just personal, it's philosophical. Oprah's brand has always been about uplifting people. Meghan's current image? Too defensive, too focused on settling scores, a tone that doesn't resonate with Oprah's audience anymore. And without Oprah's platform, Meghan's left with fewer options. The big sympathetic network specials? Probably off the table, which leaves her with smaller outlets, less editorial control, and a bigger risk of running into hostile interviewers. And here's the brutal truth. Once you start trading down in media exposure, the public can smell it. Overnight, you go from cultural force to struggling ex-star trying to stay relevant. If Meghan doesn't pivot fast and smart, this could be the moment her story shifts from headline maker to cautionary tale. From powerhouse to parable about what happens when you push too far, too often. The Oprah snub isn't just a missed interview slot, it's a seismic jolt in the Hollywood food chain, a reminder that even the most famous can hit the ceiling of their influence. So now, the clock is ticking. Will Meghan reinvent herself yet again, charm new allies, and claw her way back into the spotlight? Or is this the point where the curtain starts to close for good? One thing's for sure, in this town, once the whispers start, they rarely stop.